What is procrastination? Like, let's just like, because it's not, is it a verb? Is it an emotion? Like,
It feels like a behavior.
yes, it's a behavior.
It feels like a behavior that
That's
we
the
all
word
do,
I've been looking
right?
for.
That we do
yes.
from time to time, where we are delaying.
We're delaying.
Taking action on something that we have said we want to do, we have committed to doing, we need to show up for. So I think that it's probably best categorized. And by the way, I am no psychologist. I am just a person who is very passionate about having a great life. And anytime I discover tools or information or tricks that have helped me feel better and try and be better in my life, I just like to share them. So when you were asking this question, like, I don't know what the official definition is, but it always appears to me like a behavior.
It's a bit, I think that's slay. Okay. So, and now you've worked with so many people to overcome blocks in their work, their relationships, and their personal growth. How does procrastination fit into people's like roadblocks?
I feel like it can show up, really procrastination. It is a symptom. It's not the root cause. So it's kind of like the smoke, and we have to look underneath it to figure out what's going on. But what I know on the surface, it can make us feel a sense of shame. It can make us feel like we're not good enough. It can make us, if we don't address it, it can lead to some really troublesome outcomes, like perhaps getting fired from your job or losing important relationships or even damaging the relationship, probably the most important one that we have, which is with ourselves, where you feel like you can't trust yourself to show up for you. And so all of those things can create a lot of pain. They can create a lot of troublesome outcomes. But what I've found is really underneath procrastination is one of two things. It's either fear or it's misalignment. And to use one of your favorite notions and phrases, we have to get curious about it. And then I think the other aspect that's really, really important, research shows that up to 20 to 25% of people identify as chronic procrastinators. So Jonathan, this is like, it's a label.
Did you say 25%?
20 to 25%.
Okay, so it's like almost like, it's like 1 in 4 people.
Correct.
1 in 5 or 1 in 4.
Correct. So when people label themselves, I am a procrastinator, that's one of the most dangerous things that you can do, because our words are so powerful and it's a form of trash talking yourself.
Yeah.
So our brains, right, they are neuroplastic, meaning anything that we repeat over and over and over again, we make true. And so when you assume that identity, like, oh, I can't get it done, I'm just a procrastinator, you are putting a limit on yourself. It's being so torturesome to the precious soul that you are. So I think we're going to talk about fear and we're going to talk about misalignment. But one of the first steps to, I would say, melting, undoing, unraveling, walking away from, expanding beyond procrastination is stop labeling yourself as a procrastinator. And here's the key. No one procrastinates 100% of the time. If you're not a procrastinator 100% of the time, do not label yourself as such, because it is destructive, it is limiting, and it's not serving you. Don't say it in your mind. Stop with that inner monologue and stop saying it out loud too. So that's step number one. Then I want to go to, and then we'll address your question, the fear versus the misalignment. Those are the only two things that are going on. You are either afraid of moving forward and taking an action because it might be fear that you're not good enough and you won't be able to do it. You don't know how to do it, which, by the way, there's a book called Is Figureoutable, and it's really good. It will help you take that mantra on. It could be a fear of judgment. Like if you do it and you're not that good, people are going to judge you, or they're going to criticize you, or somehow you'll fail and feel even worse. It could be a fear of success. What happens if I actually do this thing and, oh my goodness, I get all of this attention or this more fame and I'm not able to handle it? It's going to destroy my relationships. So there's so many other iterations of fear that can be underneath there, but fear is often that one big bucket that can stop us. But the other one, and the one I think is so much more interesting, and we can peel into this, I got some stories for you, is actually misalignment. And what does that mean? Misalignment means you actually don't want to do the thing. You might be a people pleaser. You might have overcommitted. You might think you should do something because you've been conditioned to believe that everyone who's going to reach a certain level of success or reach societal standards must be doing X, Y, or Z, but your soul doesn't want to. Or it could be a circumstance where, and I've got a great story on this one, you've said yes to something, but it's really a no. It's a soul level no. Before I was with my partner who I'm with now, Josh, we just celebrated 22 years together. I know. Like crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He's an amazing human. prior to meeting him as a super young, and I think I was like maybe 23, I got engaged to be married. And it was to a nice dude. He was cute. He was sweet. But every time it came up, we're like, hey, let's set a date. Hey, let's start planning. Hey, let's do all these things. I cannot tell you how much my body was a no. And I'm someone who, when I want something, I'm like, I'm going to move heaven and earth to make that shit happen, right? Yeah. I could not do it. I could not bring myself to do it. And I didn't realize at that time it was because I really didn't want to. And it was my intuition and my soul helping me avoid what would have been an even more painful mistake than just breaking off the engagement. And I've done this in business too. Let me tell you a business story.
Please.
Because all different contexts. So I remember this one time we were about to do a deal. So I've been doing my business for 25 years now. And it was early on, and there was someone who was like quite famous that we wanted to do a deal together. And this particular person had a very big audience, and I knew that a collab was going to be awesome for both of us. And I was really excited. And my team and I, we are go-getters. Like, we get shit done. And there was this contract just sitting and hanging out that we were not signing. And it was like, this is weird. Like, why can't we move ahead with this thing? Why is this thing just collecting dust? So then what happened? This particular person called me. It was one of the most upsetting conversations of my life. They like railed into me, misinterpreted about, they were off the fucking hook, like unhinged. And in that moment, I realized that putting it off is sometimes a sign to call it off. That procrastination was saving myself and my team from some nasty, awful, what would have been very expensive, painful mistakes had we not procrastinated on signing that contract. Does that make sense?
So sometimes it's like protection.
It's a lot of the times protection. And so we can talk about how to distinguish between, I have some good tools between distinguishing fear and intuition, and we can talk about that.
I have a question about that, actually, about myself.
Yeah, please.
What is the difference between procrastination and waiting?
Oh, I feel like waiting is just, it's an inner experience. Like if you're waiting to do something and it's joyful for you and you're at peace and you are rooted and grounded, amazing.
It's like the presence or absence of like guilt or shame while the waiting is happening.
Absolutely. We have to wait all the time in life for different things. I think procrastination is when you have that mental inner dialogue. I should be.
Yes.
I should be.
I had a good friend who told me this one thing that really, just stick with us, you guys. We're doing a recap. So she told me that like should is like a version of shaming.
Yes.
It's like when you say you should do this or like I should do, it's like you're shaming. So she's like, don't should, like shoulding is a version of shaming.
Yourself. Yes.
Yeah. So I always thought that was interesting. Does that, like, we feel like we align with that?
I absolutely, 100%. And I think it's so much about our inner experience, right? It really is. Because if you know you need to do something, it's almost like you have to have a very mature but loving relationship with yourself. It's like you're either going to do it right now and start moving on it, and we'll talk about solutions in a little while, or just let yourself off the hook and watch White Lotus or do whatever else you're going to do until you're ready to take that action.
Does procrastination like tend to like, is like a youngest child thing, an only child thing, like a grandparents thing, women, men, non-binary people?
All of us. I feel like it hits all of us, and it comes up in different seasons and stages of our lives, depending on what's happening. You know, some of us experienced it while we were in school, and you're like, oh, I don't like this subject matter. I need to do this or that and the other thing. There might be other stages or seasons of our lives where we're overwhelmed because we have so many things going on, and inwardly we're starting to kind of crack and crumble and can't take anymore. It even shows up for and this is often, very high achievers and perfectionists, which, that's always something for me that I'm constantly working on.
You know what one just came up for me, not to like derail again, but my ADHD, it's like food. Like I just on like getting a better relationship with food. Like I remember the only times where I would really feel like, you know, I really need to get ahead of this. Trigger warning if you have like binge eating disorder. But like the only time where I would ever really feel like I could, like it would be like after a binge. Then I'd be like, God, I really need to like do something about this. I don't want to keep just like having coffee all day long and then like binging on like 19 dinners from like 5 o'clock at night until the time I go to bed. Like it was just such an unhealthy relationship with food. And it wasn't until I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I got help. I got like on my little I got on GLP-1. And then for the first time in my whole adult life, like food noise nor binging is like running my brain like for the last like, and it really was like, it just like fucking changed my life. Like it really did.
That's a miracle.
But I mean, my whole adult life, like I but I really should get on top of this. And then every time I did try to get on top of it, it took like every fiber of my mental being, like to learn how to like cook, to learn how to fucking sit, like it just, because I mean, I've done it without the GLP ones before, and it took so much brain power.
Yeah.
And on this medication, it doesn't.
I'm
like,
so happy for you.
It's so much easier. It's just like such a thing. But I think that's another area where like procrastination like really did, because even when I was researching for this episode, to be honest, I like, and even in my prep, I felt the need to say like, well, like I struggle with it, but I was like, I don't really. I do, but I do.
We all do.
Yeah,
from time to time. Yeah,
I think that's like it's just like an interesting, and it's interesting how much shame comes up when you even think or talk about procrastination.
And I think going back to the phrase, it's like, get curious about it. What's this about? Am I afraid to tackle this? Do I not feel like I can achieve whatever the opposite, overcoming a particular challenge? Is there a misalignment here? I think having that internal dialogue and being really gentle with yourself and coming from that place of curiosity is a really powerful first step, rather than assuming you're broken, because you are not broken. You are not weak. This is not your fault. So much, again, when procrastination, if it's rooted in some form of fear, that's your brain trying to protect you. If you're afraid of potential failure, or that taking a next step could possibly be painful or hurt you or hurt someone that you love, look at that as a beautiful thing, right? It's a self-protective mechanism. But if you can slow down enough and get curious and really try and get specific about what it's about, that can help you have that honesty arise about taking a next step.
That makes sense. That's making sense. So I feel like I have a good understanding, like what is procrastination. I definitely know how it's showing up in my life, but it doesn't just affect the person who has procrastination. It also affects our friendships, our relationships, romantic, platonic friendships, even like work dynamics.
Yes.
Like, how does procrastination show up in our lives in ways, or like the consequences of it that we may not even like
recognize?
think of?
Yeah. And I think that's very contextual, for work, for instance, if you procrastinate and don't get a handle on it, or don't get some support or some help, or reach out and create structures to have some help with that, it could get you fired. As a boss and as someone who has employed, like at times in our company, we've had 40 plus full-time employees. And when a person just consistently doesn't show up and contribute on deadline, you're like, I cannot keep paying you, and it's painful for us as leaders, and it's painful for them as well, because I'm sure it doesn't feel good. I think that in our friendships and in our kind of more intimate relationships, it can be really challenging because, I know with myself and Josh, my partner, you divide and conquer sometimes, and you're counting on your partner to do certain things or show up in a particular way and get things done by a particular date, whether it's pay the bills, book a trip, all the different things that we can do. And so I think it can create a lot of tension and a lot of pain. And then I think, we mentioned this before, but one of the most important relationships any of us have is the relationship with ourselves. And when this is a chronic problem, you start to feel like you can't trust you. Like you're not showing up for you consistently. And that, of course, is going to have a spillover effect on every other relationship that you have.
If someone we love, we notice, is like really at a procrastination station.
Yes.
Is there ever a way that you can like change that, or do we just have to like accept people where they are?
I think it's maybe a little bit of both, and it does have to do with context and like how close are you? Like how tight are you with this person? You know what I mean? Like if it was me and Josh, for instance, and I noticed him in pain, obviously we're so intimate that I am going to approach him with so much love and so much compassion and be like, hey babe, let me know if I got this right. It seems like you might be stressed about X, Y, or Z. Do you want to talk about it? Can we talk about it? Not accusing him, but approaching it with so much empathy. I think if you are a boss or it's a work situation and it's just a team member who seems to be not meeting their goals, rather than getting angry with them or necessarily taking it to a manager, why not approach them and say, hey, can we have a talk? I might be totally off here, but I've noticed X, Y, or Z. I just want to know how we can clean this up because it's impacting all of our workflow. Let's have a discussion. I want to hear what's happening for you. I really think so much of this is in how you approach people. And I know because I've been on the receiving end of different people in my life who are procrastinators, and it makes me want to pull my freaking hair out. You know what I mean? You're like, how are you late again? How is this not happening? And I can go through all of those things. But in my own life, I've never found that approaching a conversation from that space of frustration, it's not going to be good for me, them, or our relationship. So I think you have to tread lightly. But you said something that I think is really important for all of us to remember. This is a saying from my best friend, Chris. She's like, the only time you can change people is when they're in diapers. Right? So if someone's got their thing going on, for me, and this is my personal approach, I just try to pour love onto them. Do you know what I mean? Because I know I'm a mess sometimes, and I know I got my own things coming on. And when people just show up and love on me for me and don't try and fix me, they're the people that I trust the most, that when I am ready to be vulnerable and ask for a hand, they're the people that I know that aren't going to judge me.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. So I feel like it's like, really be delicate, be intentional, be thoughtful about your approach. Try not to make someone wrong. And again, get curious with them. Ask them if there's a discussion you can have, if there's something you might want to talk about, and talk about behavior rather than them as a person.
That makes sense. Wait, talk about the behavior. Yes.
You're like, not like you're a procrastinating asshole. You never meet.
My therapist taught me this thing, like nonviolent communication.
Yes.
It's
the best.
It's like when you X, I feel Y. So I need you to but it's like, so it's like basically like when you're late, it makes me feel like you aren't respecting this job or respecting our boundaries or whatever.
Yes.
So I need you to be on time. Like, or like, it's like that's like the friendly boundary. It's like, because you can't really like argue with someone's feelings.
Totally.
So that's like why it's like you got to keep it in the feelings. So it's not like you're an asshole because it's like when you are whatever, it makes me feel like this way, so I need you to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like the nonviolent communication is important.
No, I love that. But I also think it's important for many of us, especially if you're like, oh, this person's having trouble. And like, you just want to go insert yourself into their life and tell them, you know what I mean? You should stop procrastinating. It's like, they don't need you.
So we just had Young Pueblo on last week. I love him, Diego. He's incredible. And he was saying how like we need to like not have like an adversarial relationship with change. And I realized how much fear I have around change. And I was doing a project with someone who essentially was procrastinating their face off, like really, really bad. And it was creating like tension and frustration. And essentially this person was like, I just don't feel aligned with this. Like, that's not exactly what they said. Like, they said it in a different way. But what I was deducing is like, it's not the project for them. And I felt like, oh my God, what does this mean about me? Am I not like fun? Am I not like fun to work with? Like, is this like, what does it mean? And then I was like, and when it happened, I did get to a place of like, oh my gosh, I want that person to like do things that they want to do. And I want to be like doing things with people who do want to be doing this. And then also it brought up a lot for me of like, maybe this is something that like I actually have within me to accomplish, and I don't need like someone to hold my hand, and like I do have it in me, and maybe it makes the timeline longer and maybe it doesn't happen as fast, but let me just trust that like that's like what's right for the universe. So all that to say, like I thought I handled that particular situation well, but I just realized how procrastination in someone else was actually in retrospect like a misalignment.
Yes.
You know?
And it turned out to be potentially a gift for you.
Totally.
Right? And it was about them, not about you.
And also in retrospect, I realized how it was just like the change, like the presence of change is what was kind of like scaring me. So what would you say to someone who is maybe listening to this or watching this and they're identifying things in their life where like, okay, maybe I'm not aligned with this and I don't want to do this.
Yes.
Or maybe someone is going to be on the receiving end of that conversation.
Yes.
How can we like take, because you were saying the no train earlier,
yes.
and I'm like scared of no's. Like, you know, it's like, it's scary. Like,
oh, I can't wait to work on this with you. This is going to be so fun.
Well, so what's your advice for people like to, you know, to bring up those conversations, like have those conversations, like deliver the news, receive the news better?
Okay, great. I love this. First of all, I think checking in with someone, is this a good time to talk, or making an appointment? I know that sounds pretty perfunctory, but it is actually.
Can I say something about that though?
Yeah.
I fucking hate the appointment thing.
What do you mean? Like if I didn't
like
know,
if it's someone who I really know well,
yes.
and I've been like, if it's like my husband or like someone who I work with, and like they're making an appointment, like I know there's something the matter.
Oh wait, hold on 1 second. It's only, let me drive this back and make it just a little more relatable. Is now a good time to talk?
That I love.
That's all I'm talking about.
But then once it's the appointment, then I'm like,
yeah. No. No, that's going to strike the fear of terror in
they're quitting.
Yes. They're like, are you breaking up with me? Is it over?
God.
Yes. No.
But is this a good time to talk? Because then I can be like, no.
That's exactly right. But
then it might be, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point. And it depends on the context, right? So if it was a coworker and they're, we're here in New York City and they're in California, you're not just going to like roll up and be like, hey, by the way, this is like not aligned, and just drop a bomb on them. You might be like, can you talk at 3 p.m., whatever time? Does that make sense? So you just want to look at it contextually and set someone up to actually be able to receive whatever that communication is that you're about to deliver. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then I think honesty is always the best policy. It's like, hey, I've been doing some thinking. I've realized that I'm procrastinating on this project. I'm not moving ahead. I realized I actually overextended myself. Or I said yes to this, and as we got into it, one of my other life mantras that saves me is clarity comes from engagement, not thought. As we started digging into this project, it really brought up a lot. I realized I can't bring to it what it deserves. And I'm going to need to step back. I know this might be upsetting. I know this might be shocking. I know we can work out the details, but I wanted to open up this conversation because you deserve better. Something like that. That was just kind of off the cuff, but it's about setting up the space so someone can actually listen to you and they're not like distracted by kids puking and the dog and all kinds of stuff.
That's so nice.
Oh, but
it is still like, but I have been on like I have had people like do that like that nicely.
Yeah.
And you're still like just really disappointed.
Of course, because you're human. We're all human. But it's the most respectful way, I feel.
That's true.
You know what I mean? To stay connected to someone and really acknowledge and appreciate, hey, this is going to be a hard conversation. That's always a nice phrase that I like to throw out. I often do that if I have to let anyone go and it's really not easy.
It literally like having those conversations, like my heart like goes through my butt into my soul and like out my eyeballs and like my palms sweat and I fucking hate it.
Me too. But we have to do it because we're getting better and we want to be like full-hearted, open humans that treat each other with love and kindness and respect. And in my own experience, I prefer honesty. I prefer someone to come and show up and tell me what their experience is. And we can clean up the pieces later. But if they're doing that from that rootedness in love and respect for me, but this is their truth. Kind of like what you said. Well, I can't argue with their feelings. And I also don't want to be on a project with someone who's not like full the fuck in. You know what I mean? I want to be with someone who feels as passionate and energized and aligned as possible. And if it's not, it's like, hey, sure, I'm going to be disappointed, or maybe I'll take it personally for a few minutes. But ultimately, I'm going to respect that person for following their truth because it gives me more power to follow mine.
So let's say that someone in your life is saying like, I really want to start, but I just can't.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. So there's 2 little 4-letter words that can really trip us up from time to time. And one of them is I can't. Now, there's I can't and I won't. So for most of us humans, 99% of the time, not 100% of the time, but 99% of the time, when we say I can't, it's really a euphemism for I won't. So I can't get up and do my writing. I can't get up and go to the gym. I can't forgive her. I can't go find a new job. If you just give yourself a moment and just suppose that this might be true and you replace can't with won't, something usually much more honest comes through. I won't wake up and write my words. I won't wake up and go to the gym. I won't forgive her. I won't do the work to find a new job. And here's the thing. When we tell the truth about this, what's really awesome is that by being honest with ourselves, what it does is it frees us. It doesn't mean that we're lazy. It just means that we're honest. And once we're honest about what we're willing or not willing to do, we have the power back in our lives to start to make choices. So here's the thing. If you keep walking around saying that I can't do this and I can't do that, what does it do? It puts you in the position of feeling like a victim in your own life, as though there's some external authority that's holding you back, that's making sure that you can't move ahead in your life, and I can't, and I can't, and I can't. It makes you feel really weak. But once you start saying I won't, meaning I'm not willing to make the sacrifice, it's not that important to me right now, I just don't want to do the damn thing, all of a sudden you are back in a position of power. You have authority, you have agency, you're making choices. And it puts you in this position of taking full responsibility for your own experience of life. So the key here is to not really listen to what other people say about I can't. It's listen to yourself. You know what I mean? We're going back to like, we're not taking care of other people's problems. We got enough right here to
Yes.
deal with. So if you catch yourself in any circumstance saying, I can't, do a little quick self-check. Is it really, I won't? And if it is, say hallelujah, because you just told yourself the truth and you could set yourself free.
And then what about the 0.1% of times if it's like not?
Right. If you actually cannot, like, hey, Marie, you know what I mean? I'd love to have lunch with you in LA right now. And I'm like, well, I can't because I'm in New York. Then it's not a problem.
I notice a pattern in my life where some of the issues with procrastination or
Hey, are you feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, or just drowning in busy work and still not making the money you deserve? In this brand new training, you're going to learn 3 super common mistakes that can kill your productivity and tank your profits, and how to stop them fast. Just go to marieforleo.com/free class or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
Like my limitations, it's like I already said yes. So
Yes.
it's kind of like reverse engineering.
Uh-huh.
You know, so it's like, how can we create habits that actually help us move forward instead of staying stuck in those same things?
Yes. Okay, so there's a couple of things. One, this is a rule. Only say yes to that which you're willing to do joyfully. It's just make it a habit. You check in. This is like pressing pause, getting on the no train, at least immediately. So only say yes to things that you're willing to do joyfully. That prevents you from being like, oh yeah, I'll go speak at that event in 3 months, but you wouldn't want to do it tomorrow. And then when your calendar shows up 3 months later, you're like, I don't want to do it. It's like, if you would not be excited about doing something tomorrow or the next day, do not say freaking yes to it. And don't say yes to shit and people please and then torture yourself and procrastinate and then treat yourself like a victim. Just cool. So only say yes to those things that you're willing to do joyfully.
That's really important.
Super important. Another habit, something that I like to use, especially for big projects, I think this could really be helpful for you, is a reverse calendar. So what's a reverse calendar? Really simple. What is the deadline? And
I just started doing this accidentally.
Yay!
But it was only through like years
of torture?
Yes.
Yes. So most of us, again, that's how we learned. We're all here learning and growing and trying to get better. But a reverse calendar I have found is so, so, so critical. So if there is this big dream or big goal or big project that you are a full body yes to, then get that date in and start chunking yourself backwards.
I literally just did it with the thing with the person who couldn't do it. And then the other thing, I literally just did that.
Yes. And then your calendar becomes your best friend. And one of the things that most of us do, and this is especially for perfectionists, especially for overachievers, we radically underestimate the time it takes us to get shit done. So you need to start time blocking it in that gorgeous little calendar, whatever calendar that you use. And I always like to tell people, give yourself more buffer. Like all of us need more, what I like to call white space in our life. We need time to play. We need time to rest. We need time to be, when I say bored, I mean not scrolling, but just in nature or allowing our subconscious to do its work to create those breakthrough ideas that will not come when we are exhausted.
Yes.
So a reverse calendar is a magical, magical tool. Give yourself more buffer. One of the other really important things is to really honor your most creative zones. Like, so you and I are alike in the way that I write my best in the mornings. Like early mornings to me are fucking
It's my
magic.
best time.
Oh, I love it so much.
Me
I love
too.
my coffee.
Me too.
I have my morning routine. Like it's
Yes.
just, it's magical. You're like
Yes.
closest to the soul. You're closest to all of the magic in the universe. But some people are night owls. And it's like, so you want to start constructing your life and building your calendar in a way that really works for your natural energetic flows. And again, a reverse calendar, you just kind of put all these little Lego pieces together and all of a sudden procrastination becomes less of an issue. But we got more strategies, but I'm going to toss it back to you. Yes, please.
So what does it mean? Because this is like a pattern.
Yes.
But I think I never do it, but I'm like looking at Chris in the sound booth, you guys just off camera. Cause I'm like, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Like I want to be like honest. I just can't tell. So like, for instance,
Yes.
I have a bunch of like stand up that I'm doing right now. I'm on tour a lot and I love that I get to do that. But one thing that happens is like, I'll be like, okay, I know I need to like run my show and just like spend time with it when I'm not doing other things. But then instead of me doing that, my show's still really good. Don't worry about it. But instead of doing that, I keep saying like, I don't cancel the pod. I don't cancel the other things. So, like I just keep my schedule as it would have been.
Mm-hmm.
But so then like what will happen? Okay, let me say this in like a less specific way. Okay. So basically like tomorrow I'm overwhelmed and I want to cancel everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want to like not do the shit that I committed to because I really want like white space so that I
Yes.
can actually like not / also I want like some of the time tomorrow to just like work on some other stuff.
Yep.
But I already committed to this other stuff.
Uh-huh.
So what does that mean?
That just means that you're like a super passionate overachiever, way creative, multi-passionate
But we can't be like
entrepreneur.
fucking last minute canceling on people.
No, don't do that shit. You're better than that. Do
I
not
know, but
do
what is
that.
it? What do I really have to? What is it?
What is it?
What
Look,
is it?
but
Saying
you
people
know this,
tomorrow.
but let this be. Sometimes we have to let a little bit of the pain and suffering that we cause ourselves. I've caused myself a lot in my life. We have to let that be the little, it's the education cost. It's the education fee. So you don't keep making that same mistake in the future. Here's one of the things that I do.
That is so true. But I just literally with my theory. But
What?
like,
Tell
well,
me.
it's just that like I've just been in this fucking like learning curve.
Yes.
Like with having to sit with the consequences for like years. And I'm just so excited to like not do that.
You are on your way. We know we've got to,
We are getting better.
You are getting better, but you're in a period of massive expansion and reinvention right now. Like you're reaching into your next level. This is just me intuition talking. So a lot of these lessons are going to solidify for you. They really, really are. So you're not going to cancel tomorrow, but we have to remember the pain of it. This is not in a tragic way. And just like, as you start looking ahead in your calendar, here's what I was going to say. One of the things that helped me the most was creating these boundaries around off time. So I like to take adventures to Italy, for example, and I'm going to Sicily in a little bit for 3 weeks. And it's like opportunities coming in. Can you do this? Can you show? It's like, nope, mama's going to be in Italy. Even if you don't want to go away, you could still create a boundary around that white space that you need to just be.
Okay, right?
Yes.
But then people will ask me stuff
Yes.
like on things that I'm already doing.
Uh-huh.
And I really care about those things.
Yes.
So I want to be available.
You still need to create more boundaries for
Like
you.
I'm going to end up in the psych ward.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you this as someone who
And
like,
also it's not this team. Just so you know, it's not this team.
yeah, no. And it's probably
It's
all
these other
great teams.
hoes.
These other hosts who's got like continuing to ask you for shit when you're like, I already gave you the shit. Now you need more shit. This is just.
But also I mean to call them hosts because I do really love
of
everybody.
course you
It's
do.
like a lot. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I call them some of my best friends.
Yeah.
We're all like calling each other that. But my point is this: it's like you are such a powerful force of nature, as are so many of your listeners and the people watching right now. It's like we have to really stay conscious and stay aware, because for me, at least, this isn't my value. It is about longevity and sustainability. And if I drive this amazing, beautiful little machine into the ground, she's going to go bye-bye. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm about creating some of those pockets, and we're learning. You're doing good, but this is normal for someone like you and for overachievers. And you do have to start creating some boundaries and get a little ticket on the no train.
Gotta get a little ticket on the no train. Okay, that's important. It's also like, it's just ironic to me that I'm on a show about like helping people get out of ruts. And I have to say, like, my overcommitter, like, and my like parts work, which we're talking about next week.
Yes.
Like my busy bee is so
Dominant?
yes.
Yes.
And like, it's just, it feels weird for me giving advice sometimes when like I know there's something in my life that like I'm been just uncomfortable. Like I've been stuck in certain ruts
Yes.
myself, but it's like, I am proud of us in Queer because I feel like we're open about like what our shit is too.
Yes. And I was just going to say, if I may reflect, like, I don't hear you, at least in this conversation, my experience of you is not like you are giving advice from you're up on the mountain. We are exploring a conversation. Like I'm the first to raise my hand. It's like, I'm constantly looking at my own inner addictive patterns around productivity and overcommitting. And so this is a journey that we're all on together. And I think it's really fun to talk about these things and to be able to share, hey, here's what's working for me and here's what's not, or here's a tool that you can try, see how it works for you.
Yes.
So I just feel like the positioning is like, hey, this is something that many of us struggle with. And so I just wanted to offer that.
Yeah, thank you. And I love you and thank you for saying that. Okay. What if you're someone who thrives under pressure and only gets things done at the last minute? Is
Yes.
that actually a problem?
It might not be. So it's all about your experience of it, right? So that's actually me sometimes.
Because I do that too.
Yes.
I feel like I'm like that with like with the stand up, because sometimes I just say to myself, I'm like,
if you're struggling to make progress on your dreams, this free tool is going to help. It's called the Yearly Goals Map. And in just 10 minutes, you're going to get clear on your top priorities and let go of what's keeping you stuck. It's super quick, it's powerful, and you can do it anytime. Get it now at marieforleo.com/yearly-goals, or just scan the QR code on your screen right now.
girl, like if I feel like I should have been, because like sometimes I'm like, I need to run it for like 3 times a day.
Yes.
But I'll always do it at least like once.
Yes.
But I'll like penalize myself for not doing it enough or something.
Uh-huh.
But then every time I'm like just like in backstage and like I am like I always slay.
You
like
do.
It always comes to me.
Exactly. So this is about getting curious again and investigating. Oh, do I really need to do it 3 times? Or is that just some idea I have that is a remnant from my obsession with winning an Olympic gold or X, Y, or Z? Again,
It's just what I told
oftentimes.
myself, like what real comedians do.
Yes. So here's the thing. And this is another really
I am a real
interesting note.
comedian.
First of all, I was looking at clips. I was laughing my ass off. And I'm like, I cannot wait to see your full show. Like, I want to see your full show so bad because I was laughing. Like, it made me feel so good. Anyway, back to this. So one of the things that's especially prevalent among people who are ambitious, multi-passionate entrepreneurs, creatives, we don't trust it when it's easy. We don't trust it when it's easy. So we have these ideas like, I have to show up. I have to do this. I have to put in X amount of hours. And my partner, Josh, has actually really helped me with this because on my own show on Marie TV, I'm like, oh, I need to be prepping these interviews. And I used to do it this way. And now I'm like, girl, I've been doing this for like 15 years. I don't need as much time. I have there are certain things that come naturally. So the answer to that question is, if it is bothersome to you and you honestly know that waiting till the last minute is creating stress and you're not having quite enough time to reach the level of mastery or excellence that you know is possible for you, great. Use that as a signal to give yourself some more time. But if it's just a mental dialogue about how you should be doing something, let that shit go and let it be easy. And if you thrive under pressure in certain situations, fucking enjoy
It's
it.
also really confusing with comedy, like not to keep talking about that, but it is because like, I feel like some shows I do thrive under pressure and it's like good.
Yeah.
And then there are other times, especially if it's like newer material, I'm like,
That's your clue.
I could have done that a little bit more.
Okay, so maybe that's your clue. Maybe
Yeah.
if it's, I've seen that for myself in terms of speaking engagements. Like if it is a talk that I'm very familiar with all the stories and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've done it a million times, I can be a little looser on stage and I don't have to spend all of that time like really getting every word into my bones.
Yeah.
But when it's new material, that is what creates the most anxiety in my body.
Yes.
And then I want to beat myself up the night before I'm in my hotel room like, why the fuck did I wait so long?
Yes.
Right? It's like that thing. Because I want to do a good job when I'm on stage and I want to give my best to the people.
Yes.
So that might be your indication.
Yeah,
Where,
that's totally what it is. It's just like how new the material is. That's so
Yes,
true.
yes.
Which the show's new and that's kind of what I want to cancel tomorrow for because I feel like I haven't spent enough time with this material and now I'm going to be
you might
fucking
need to
Rhode Island every day.
you might need to disappoint some people, and that's okay.
So I noticed with myself that like I love a magic bullet. I love like a one size fits all. It's not how problems get fixed, unfortunately. So can you give us 3 daily practices that can help us break the procrastination cycle and build momentum to a more productive, more fulfilled life?
Yes. And this is one of the simplest things that any of us can do. And it's called the 10-minute morning rule. Step number 1. What I want you to do is decide your most important task, the one thing that if you could get that thing done or at least make some movement on it, you would move past that procrastination block and feel like a fucking rock star. So decide your most important task, but don't do it in the morning. I want you to do it the night before. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is you are going to commit to in the morning doing that for just 10 minutes, not for 4 hours, not for 17 hours, but for just 10 minutes. You're going to commit to doing it and you're not going to have any distractions. It's going to be a distraction-free zone. We are going to create before we consume. So no looking at emails, no scrolling socials, no doing anything but that little 10-minute block. And then number 3, you're going to set yourself up for success. So let's say, for instance, the thing that you wanted to do, like you haven't been moving your body at all. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to do power walking around the goddamn block for 10 minutes. I'm going to put on my ankle weights. I'm going to fucking prancercise. You set up your little ankle weights the night before, you set up your shoes, you set up anything that you're going to do, and then you're going to do it just for 10 minutes. And when 10 minutes is up in the following morning, If you're like, damn, I'm in a flow and you can still go, great. But if not, just let yourself off the hook. So it's the 10-minute morning rule. Again, step 1, decide your most important task. You do it the night before. Don't leave it until the morning. Step 2, you're going to commit for 10 minutes only to do whatever that thing is, distraction free. And then step number 3, you're actually just going to do it. And if it feels good and you want to stay in flow, great. If not, you'll move past the procrastination. Because here's the thing. It's not about finishing. It's about starting. Once you break through that block, which is where most people procrastinate, they don't start. Once you start it, all the magic opens up.
So it's like you don't even have to become attached to that thing. It's just starting.
Correct.
Because like the new thing will flow in.
Absolutely. And you will have broken that kind of seal, right? That's like, I haven't started. And if you do it just 10 minutes in the morning, first of all, you feel like a champion because if you got it done first, you're not thinking about it all day.
What if like someone isn't getting things done though? Like they're starting it, but they're not. Cause like I'm an ADHD girl.
Yeah, me too.
So like what if they're having problems like finishing a task they started? Is that procrastination or is that a different thing?
No, that could be. But so many of us, there's many of us. So those are tips like if you just want to bust through a particular, right?
Yes.
Easy, takes 10 minutes.
It's a separate thing.
Anyone
I did a
can
separate
do it.
thing. My bad.
No, it's not your bad at all. But talking about finishing, that's like a whole other beautiful, gorgeous, rich can of worms. And there are so many different ways, so many different tools and techniques to get yourself to finish. So I remember when I was working on my first book, I knew that I would be scared. I knew that I would potentially get overwhelmed. I knew that I didn't have anyone to really show pages to because at that time it was like I was bartending and teaching dance and like who the hell was in my life that was a writer? So I hired a book coach. I knew I could write, but it was like showing up, paying money and having someone that I could hand pages to help me cross that finish line. Just like for you, showing up to group fitness.
That was such a good way, but you found a way.
I found a way. So there's many, many different ways to finish. It might be about partnering with a friend or someone that could help you finish and making a commitment. Sometimes I know that people have done this. I've never done this, but they have like, it's almost like an anti-charity trigger where if you don't get something done by a particular date, like you set an amount of money, it could be $5, it could be painful, like $10,000, that if you don't get it done, it's going to be donated to a cause that you do.
Ooh.
Yes. So there are all kinds of like, ouches, right.
But you know what's interesting too, when I was even thinking about that, it's like, in those cases though, like it was still a full body yes.
Yeah.
You just needed like support getting there.
Correct.
Because the other thing could be that like, if you don't want to do those things, it could be that the other off ramp or strategy for getting a more fulfilled life is like the no train.
Yes.
And like you might have to just like, maybe you did already say yes, but you might have to be like, I'm actually not aligned with that. I don't want to do it.
That's right. That comes back to clarity comes from engagement, not thought. I am a person who learns experientially, and I also learn through my body. Like if I'm sitting on my couch, I might think something's a great idea, a partnership, doing a particular activity, taking up a hobby, starting a new aspect of my business. I've seen someone else do it. Wow, that looks really attractive. Maybe it's going to be a big impact and I'm going to have so much fun. And then as I start to take physical steps towards it, make the call, start putting the project in place, start experiencing it, all of a sudden my body's like, you don't like this shit. Let us get out. So clarity comes from engagement, not thought. And that's not a bad thing. If you experience something and it is now a no, you can release it. You can complete it. You can drop it without guilt. You don't have to finish shit that you don't really want to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's really resonating.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, oh my God, I'm like full crying. That's fine.
Wait, but let that sit for a minute because I think you're probably also reflecting what many of us feel. Like I know for myself, for instance.
There's like an embarrassment.
Of course there is. Of course there is, because we care and you have such a big heart. And I know so many in your audience have a big heart. And I like to think that I have a big heart too. And we want to show up fully for people and we want to keep our word and we want to be honorable and all those things. And we are. But there are some times when I think our ambitions and our dreams and our goals and our inner achiever gets the best of us. And there are times when we have to have enough wisdom and enough self-compassion to say that enough is enough. And sometimes it's not giving up, it's moving on. And we need to understand the difference because there are times in our life where it's not like we can't hack it or that we're not powerful enough or that we're not strong enough or that we're not good enough. It is that there is some part of our life that has become complete and we are ready to evolve beyond it. And we are ready to expand into something new. But in order to have that space, we need to let go of things from the past. And so there is a really big difference between giving up and moving on. And sometimes it's time for us to move on and be kind to ourselves and free the other people as well.
Hey, if you loved this video, you need to watch this one next. Trust me on that.